Tampa. First round East Region play continues. East Tennessee State about ready to take on the second seed Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Let's join Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel.
From the St. Pete Times Forum in Tampa, Florida, this is action from the East Region. First round play, the 15th seed East Tennessee State taking on number 2 seed Wake Forest. The winner will go on to meet Auburn, who knocked off St. Joseph's in overtime earlier today. Welcome, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spanarkel. Big surprise this year in college basketball, the play of Wake Forest. Their first outright ACC regular season title in over 40 years. One thing, though, that was not surprising, Josh Howard. You knew he'd be an All-American. I don't know if anybody, though, felt that he was going to be a Player of the Year candidate. What a year he's had.
And if you look at his career stats, they've been off the charts, and clearly this year he has emerged and stepped up, obviously, to lead this Wake Forest team. He can shoot the ball from long range, off the dribble. He's an impact player, but at 40% from three. Watch him. He'll get involved early. Everything gets run through Josh Howard.
East Tennessee State, winners of the Southern Conference. They get their first bid to the NCAA Tournament in 11 years. They've got some history, and they've pulled off some upsets in the past. This is a team that changed its style a bit because they got an exciting point guard in, and they decided that they'll feed off him. Tim Smith is a terrific lead guard for this team.
And as a freshman, he took only 4 games to establish himself as the starting point guard, and he has really changed the tempo. He loves to slash. He loves to drive to the basket, look for opportunities, but don't make any mistake about it. 42% from three-point range. He's another impact player who'll get this tempo going up and down.
Ed DeChellis, his first appearance as a head coach in the NCAA Tournament, a longtime assistant with Penn State, now in his 7th year as the head coach of the Buccaneers. Shaking hands with close friend Skip Prosser, head man for Wake Forest. We'll take a look at the starting lineups. And for East Tennessee State, Fields, Wadood, Smith, Rhoda, and Anthony. That's your starting 5. For Wake Forest, team that lost in the second round of the NCAA Tournament last year. Last second loss to Oregon out west. Levy, Danilus, Williams, Howard, and Downey in the starting 5. They go big across that front line. 6'9", 6'8", and 6'9". And there's Skip Prosser, second year as the head coach at Wake. His 7th appearance in the NCAA Tournament. 4 with Xavier. He had 1 with Loyola, Maryland. And he's 2-5 all-time in the NCAAs. And a breakthrough season for this program, the best that they've played since the Tim Duncan years. Ted Hillary, Steve Olson, and Vern Harris, the officiating crew here this afternoon in Tampa. For East Tennessee State, their 6th overall NCAA Tournament appearance. Last appearance came in '92, a second-round loss to Michigan. As a 16 seed, they came very close to knocking off a number 1. It was 1989. They lost to Oklahoma 72-71. That's the closest a 16 seed has ever come to pulling off an upset of a top seed.
And the trick for the Bucks from East Tennessee State is to stay in this one early. Make sure they play control basketball. Make sure Tim Smith controls the tempo. Make sure he also at the same time does not turn the basketball over.
They jump it up with Fields and Levy, and East Tennessee State, the Buccaneers, control the tip with Smith, who's 5'9", 155 pounds. Out of bounds, James Anthony along the sideline. Early turnover for East Tennessee State.
Well, Wake Forest will come at you defensively just like we saw, and they're also a terrific rebounding basketball team, the tops in the nation in terms of going after the basketball. A lot of guys participate too, even the guards from the defensive spots in particular.
Good matchup. Downey and Smith. Teron Downey is 6'2", 171. He's quick himself, a lefty. Off an entry pass, it was taken away from Howard.
Nice job by James Anthony just then defensively.
Smith outside. Fields puts it on the floor. And blocked by Danilus. Here's Downey the other way. Stop and go to the rim. He banks it through, but it's waved off. Foul called out front. And it's Tim Smith picking up his first.
Now quickness going the other end. Here's the step in, big drive, and Danilus comes from across the court looking for the seam and picking one off for Fields, who delivers or tries to deliver.
Here's Howard, ACC Player of the Year for Danilus. Second team all ACC. He comes up short on the turnaround. Rhoda brings it across in a hurry. Rhoda Changing gears, and he had it blocked along the baseline by Howard.
A little bit of the size advantage from Wake's perspective coming into play already.
Howard, the runner, short, and it's rebounded by Wadood.
Smith will try to get to the middle of the floor sometimes.
Penetration, Smith, left hand, bank shot, no. Rebound, Fields. Big body, but he can't get that one to go as Williams clears it, the freshman for Wake.
A little bit of the nerve showing early on here. Both teams struggling to get on the scoreboard.
The Buccaneers are 0 for 4 from the field. Almost a turnover. Danilus, pull up, pop. No good. Tip in by Howard as he broke through.
The ability to use that left hand, though, and find the seam off the offensive glass.
Anthony on a kick out, and Wadood hands to Smith.
The thing about Josh Howard is that he just keeps playing and playing for every moment he's on the floor.
Smith looking to turn the corner on Downey, and met by Williams, blocked by the Wake Forest center.
Well, they were trying to push Tim Smith to the baseline. He bought on it.
Smith gets a piece of it as Downey passed him off the drive. And who touched it last? Officials will come together and come up with a decision.
And down the other end, you'll see Williams step across. Good, strong help there from the weak side to the power side where the ball was situated. And Wake Forest defensively very alert.
And the third block for Wake on the defensive end. They hold on to it on this end of the floor with Levy, the sophomore. Looking for help. It's Howard.
May have taken an extra step out there, Levy.
They'll reset with Downey near the midcourt line. 15 to shoot. Wake Forest comes in averaging 78.4 points per game. The #1 rebounding team in the nation. Foul going the other way. Danilus was trying to box out Wadood.
Now, Danilus obviously very active, second-team All-ACC performer this year for Wake Forest. A guy who does a little bit of everything on the floor. A tough guy to scout and put on the reports because he's so good at really fitting into the offensive flow and also defensively.
He learned a lot from Darius Songaila last year, star player for Wake Forest. But Skip Prosser says they're very different players. Danilus more finesse, Songaila a power player as East Tennessee State turns it over.
Wadood not ready to catch the basketball.
Danilus puts it in play. 2-0 Wake Forest. Just about 3 minutes gone by here in the first half. Howard comes in averaging 20 points per game for the Demon Deacons. Here's Howard's jumper. Off the rim, no. And Rhoda able to get a piece of it on the inside to keep it alive for the Buccaneers. And a carry called on Smith.
Interesting enough, you don't see that call enough in college basketball anymore. I always look and think back 25 years ago when I was trying to play this game. I would have been fast if I were allowed to carry it like that. I'm not so sure I would have been.
Well, Tim Smith is fast either way.
Oh, yes, he is.
Downey on an entry feed. Williams, short pop. Eric Williams, good position.
And that's where Wake wants to play this game. Play the power game. Get the ball on the blocks and let your big guys go to work.
Buccaneers have turned it over 4 times, almost a fifth. And some action out along the baseline. Josh Howard was there defensively for Wake Forest. Wake with a 4-0 lead. 16:35 to play first half. Buccaneers get it in. And it's Wadood against Danilus. Now facing the rim, a double team comes. Deflection out of bounds. And East Tennessee State will hold on to it.
Defensively, the instincts quickly just then by Williams once again to react to help out. East Tennessee State is going to have to make sure when they get the ball in the blocks, get rid of it quickly.
Smith, side of the backboard. Fields trying to grab it. He cannot. And Williams does for Wake. Here's Downey picked up by Smith. Turns the corner. Downey. Great attempt towards the rim, but couldn't get it to drop. Great opportunity. Smith for Wadood inside. And a blocking foul.
Well, the pace going up and down the floor. That's how Tim Smith loves to play this game of basketball. Finding some seams on the floor for Ed DeChellis trying to make things happen.
Second foul on Josh Howard at the 16:09 mark. First half.
That is huge right there. And clearly, from Skip Prosser's point of view, he has to make a decision. And it's not going to be a difficult one, that's for sure.
Wadood comes up short, 67% free throw shooter. NCAA tournament history for East Tennessee State. They beat a number 3 seed Arizona in '92, lost to a 7 Iowa in '91, and we told you about that loss to Oklahoma, the number 1 seed back in 1989. Justin Gray, the talented freshman, has come in.
It's going to be a violation, though, isn't it? There we go.
Now Wadood is going to get another opportunity as Levy tried to sneak in.
I like your choice of words there, sneaking in. A lot of people watching him standing in the lane before that shot was even taken. Didn't quite work out to his benefit.
Here's Wadood, an all-conference performer the last 2 seasons, and he has put the Buccaneers on the board. 4-1 Wake.
Bucks extended defensively a little bit also. They like to play up and down.
Downey on a bounce. Williams, that big frame, but a foul was called beforehand as Williams turned towards the interior.
And I think it was Rhoda standing right in his way with the reach.
And our first timeout, 15:59 to go. First half, Wake Forest up 4-1.